So I'm going to complete the landscape stitch and flip piece that I showed you in the last video. So here it is, finished. And you can see that I've used that little bit of tree fabric that I was talking about. I've stitched and flipped it, but I have finished it with plique. I've done some simple embellishments here and there, but that's it. It's going to be just a very simple representation, or not supposed to be realistic at all. So the next thing is I've cut that down to 12.5 inches, and to do that I've used this very handy 12.5-inch ruler. I would say that if you're looking to expand your collection of rulers, this is probably the next most useful one to have after the 24 by 6 inch big ruler that everybody gets first. This one, and perhaps the 6.5-inch square, I would really recommend. So this piece I've cut down to exactly 12.5-inch square, and that's important because this piece is part of a project for under the edge quilters, and they must all finish at 12 inches so that they fit together properly. 12 inches square, can't stress that enough. So I've cut this down to 12.5, which will give me 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way round. Now if that's not quite enough for you, then cut it down to a bit more, but it does need to finish to 12 inches square if it's going to be part of Under the Edge Quilters project. So the next thing is I've cut out a piece of this washed calico, also exactly 12.5 inches square, to go on the back. Now I've got my walking foot on my sewing machine, show you that in a minute, and I know that that's got a good 1/4 inch marking on it, but they don't all have that. So if they don't, then I would say that you should actually mark it with a pencil. I like, of course I can't find it, but I like the mechanical pencils really to do this. So I'm going to mark all the way round at 1/4 inch, like that. But we're going to use a method called bagging out. Normally, sometimes it's called pillowcasing. So a pencil mark all the way round. But to do that, you're going to have to leave a space to turn it. And so I've marked a space just on one edge, about 6 inches. That's not critical, but don't make it too difficult for yourself. So I've left a 6-inch space there. And that goes on the back. So right side up, right side down. Right. I just put a few pins in, just a few. There we go. Spent one. Here we are. Then I'm going to move over to the sewing machine. So that means moving the camera, the delicate piece, delicate operation. There, I think will do. Oh, here's the walking foot. If you've got the walking foot on, it's a good idea just to turn up the stitch length a little bit, because the walking foot action tends to make the stitches smaller. I also told my machine to stop with the foot down. Well, I think all machines that have an onboard sorry about that, arm in the way, that have an onboard computer will do that. So that's fine. But if you're using a mechanical machine, that's fine. But you will have to do a little bit of tap dancing just to get it to stop with the needle down. So starting at one of those marks, we'll just do a little bit of right, okay. And there we are, it stops with the needle down. And when you get to the corner, stop with the needle down, lift the foot and swivel. That might sound obvious, but I know not everybody knows how to do that. And off we go again. In the next corner. Right, corner is marked, so stop with the needle down, turn it, foot up, turn it, swivel, and off we go again. And like I said before, if you've got a mechanical machine, that's going to mean a little bit of tap dancing, but it comes with practice. If you can't do it straight off, don't worry, keep practicing. If you haven't got a walking foot, again, no worries, just go a bit slower. I'm sticking carefully to my pencil mark. See, like I said, I've got a handy 1/4 inch guide on my walking foot so I can check it against my pencil mark. But if you haven't, use that pencil. And a back stitch to finish. Okay. I'll come back round. So through that pencil, through that gap we left, put it through. Push out the corners well. I've got a handy tool for that. Using my corner turner. Push that out well. Get that right out. I'll probably work on that a bit more just before I sew up that last little bit. That's a little bit then you need to sew up by hand. Then give it all a good press. Lay my life on the line here. That should be exactly 12 inches square. Yeah, it will be when it's pressed. Fine. Then when I've sewn that up, finally I will just do some stitches with my walking foot on right across through the design lines, maybe just 3. You need to do that just to keep the 3 layers securely together. Okay, one last look at what it looks like. And thank you for watching.